Shalom, y'all. By Shimei Shabakata, y'all Shamar Thumb by Shimei Shai, priest and officer of 500 Mathum Yad. You know what I mean? Out of One West, start out of I.S.U.P.K, start out of One West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under command of YAHANNA. You know what I mean? We've been teaching the truth about the Bible since 1969. Truth being that the blacks, Latinos, and the Native American Indians are God's chosen people according to the Bible. You understand? You know what I mean? That revealing the truth that the whole world wants to hide from us, you know what I mean, that we are God's chosen people. You know what I mean? How, we God's chosen people, we catching all the hell, you know what I'm saying, that the Most High said we was going to catch from the curses he was talking about in the book of Deuteronomy. You understand? We catching all that. We caught it all, and guess what? You know what I mean? We're his chosen people. Because he called us his special people, you know what I mean? We served out the judgment of, slavery because of our disobedience. You know what I mean? We served out all these different things that hurt us bad. You know what I mean? But we gotta let this punishment work. You know what I mean? We gotta let this change us into the people we supposed to be. You understand? I'm gonna get the book of Deuteronomy 20 7 and 6. All right. It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. You understand? Since he chose us to be a special people, he wants us to behave a certain way. You know what I mean? Just like any father, you know what I mean, and his children. He would want his children to behave a certain way. He wouldn't want his children to do something that he told them that, that goes against the same thing he told them to do. You understand? It's the same way with the Most High. You know what I mean? Christ called him, our Father. Christ calls him our Father, and that's the perfect way to, picture the Most High or look at the Most High as a Father. You know what I mean? So since we do things like eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, since we do things like, indulging in holidays that we ain't supposed to be into, you know what I'm saying? Adopting our oppressors' ways of life, you understand? We receive the belt from the Most High. You understand? We receive the belt, the punishments, you understand? And it's not pretty and it ain't, ain't nothing light. We've been suffering it for 400 plus years, even longer than that. You know what I mean? Going all the way past the Roman Empire, going all the way back to ancient Egypt. You understand? You know what I mean? We've been suffering this punishment, and it's time for this punishment to come to an end. It's time for right now for us, Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, to wake up to the truth that once we choose to live a certain way, once we choose to change our ways and make a 180 from what we used to behaving like, you understand, really be that chosen people that the Most High, wants us to be, then we're going to live lavish. The Lord going to give us the kingdom of heaven. He's going to give us the kingdom of heaven, and before that, he's going, drop all these nations right before our eyes. He's going to have all these nations crumble right before our eyes. You understand? Which is what we're seeing today. If you look at the news, if you look on your phone, look on Instagram, you look anywhere, you understand? You're going to see the prophecies unfolding right before our eyes. You understand? You're going to see Iran and the U.S. and Israel going at it. You know what I mean? Really, Israel and the U.S. attacking Iran and getting into it with Iran. And they thought it was going to be sweet going in there and doing what they wanted to, thinking they could do whatever they wanted to do against Iran. But Iran got something for them. You know what I'm saying? And it's something sneaky they got for them. It's like they just gonna let them use all they exhaust all they weapons, all they missiles and everything that they're gonna use against them, and cause an economic failure in the U.S. You know what I'm saying? A whole global economic failure. If you look at the news, the Straits, excuse me, but if you look at the news, the Straits of Hormuz, you know what I mean, they're closing that up. They're shutting that up. They, you know what I mean, all the oil, all the, you know what I mean, the food that goes through there, you know, everything that we need that gets shipped everywhere and here in the U.S. as well. You know what I mean? It's getting shut off. And guess what? I just heard today. Donald Trump is saying, well, if you know, if they plan on doing that, then we just gonna bomb them, and it's gonna be way crazier than what we did before. He ain't saying it in those words, but that's what he was basically the gist of what he was saying. If they continue to do this and they continue to, you know, block off um the use of our use of the Straits of Hormuz with all the resources going through there, we gonna do them worse than we was doing them already. And they think they know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, the benefit of, you know, sitting at the feet of Commander YAHANNA and the rest of the generals in Philly, you understand, they bring out eloquently on how, you know, these they bring out how man thinks they know what they're doing. They think they have a plan and what direction they want to go. They got a plan. They got everything set in stone on what they want to do. You know what I mean? And Donald Trump is a stubborn, stubborn devil. You know what I'm saying? As he wants his way, and you know that his way is fine on, decisions, on crazy, important decisions. You know what I mean? His way is fine, even if you know people gotta die, people gotta get unalive. Salakia. You know what I mean? He was on camera saying that as well, saying, well, reporters asking him, they like, so yeah, Mr. President, so what do you say about the casualties in this war? What do you feel about, Americans dying, Americans being unalive in this whole thing? And he's like, well, like I said before, if people going to get unalive. That's just what happens in war. And like, listen, this is what he says, and this is how stubborn he is. It doesn't matter people get unalive. It doesn't matter that people a mass amount of people get unalive. He wants what he wants, and he wants it done now. You understand? So he's gonna do what they're gonna do, and this is prophecy out of the Bible. This is what the Most High was saying is gonna happen. You know what I mean? He's been telling us through the prophets of through Prophet Ezekiel, through Joel, through, you understand, all these prophets of the Most High, you know what I'm saying? John the Revelator, he been letting us know these things is going to happen. And how you know that? Like, if you just go in your Bible, wipe the dust off of it real quick, you know what I'm saying? And look in them records, look in them precepts, you understand? You're going to see the Most High left this here for us. He left this Bible here for us, so we can know, so we can read it and understand it in these last days. You understand? So we can know what it's talking about and how it can guide us in these last days. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? That's what's going to guide you. And I hate to break people's hearts out there. It won't be your imam that's going to tell you what's going to happen. Your imam going to get blown up. That's what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? With all the, skirmishes and all this stuff going on around today. I wouldn't be surprised if they get blown up. You understand? The Christian church get all the, things happening to them, attacks on wherever, you understand? But I'll tell you right now, it ain't a safe place to be in the church right now. It ain't a safe place to be in the imam. They're not going to tell you what you need to know anyway. When COVID happened, they shut the doors on Black people. They shut the doors on Latino people. You understand? They don't really care about you. So what you got to understand is, here in the I.S.U.P.K, we're going to break it down to you clear. We're going to give it to you out the Bible. We're going to let you know what you need to know to, survive in these last days. Because we're definitely in these last days if you did not know already. If you didn't know already, we're in the last days. And what you need to know and what you need to do in these last days is very, it's all, you can find it all in the Bible. And we about to go over some of these things and, you know, some of the prophecies. You know what I'm saying? We're just going to get into it. Because all week I'm addicted to watching the news and what's going on, what they talking about in the news and what Donald Trump got to say. You know what I mean? Because all the dumb stuff coming out of his mouth. You understand? You know, I love listening to it and listening to them and hearing them. And when you hear them, especially his main man that be talking, I gotta get his name. I'll get it for y'all next week. That be the the spokesperson for them meetings that they have. You understand? They so confident in what they want to do. They confident in what direction they want to go in. They confident that they're gonna come out on top. They spreading propaganda out there that they are winning the fight, that they're winning this war over there in Iran. When Russia came out and not just them, I believe China too. They giving out the real numbers of the casualties that's over there in Iran right now, of who's perishing, who's being unalive, how many's being unalive from the U.S. Out of the U.S. Army, out of the U.S. military, Slovakia. You understand? They're giving out the real numbers, and it's way more than what, you know, Trump's administration will like you to know. You understand? So keep all that stuff in mind right there. We're about to go into these things, open your mind up, and let you know what the deal is. All right. So we're gonna drop this real quick. I'm gonna drop this real quick. All right. I'm gonna get one of these, one of my main precepts I usually get. Man, and then we're gonna go into some other stuff, Joel and go Isaiah. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go into some stuff. All right. So this is the book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 9. Salakia. 13 and 11. My bad, Salakia. It's the book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 11. All right, and it reads this. It says, and that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. See, right now, it's the time to really wake up. You know what I mean? Right now, we, you know, rock to sleep so good in this place. You understand? The white man, you know, pacifying us with Christianity, pacifying us with religion as a whole. You understand? Holidays that he has out here, you know what I mean, to entertain the slaves. You understand? He has these things out here, traps, you know what I mean, if you will, and we all falling for it because we're asleep. We're asleep and we need to wake up. It says that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. I'm gonna read on some more. 1 second. Give me a second. It says, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. Right now is the time to wake up out of sleep. You know what I mean? And what it's going to say, if I read further on, it says, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. You know what I mean? We totally understand now that the time is nearer than when we believe, when Christ is coming back, Christ's second return. You understand? Christians love to say all the time how they want Christ to come back. They want Christ to come back so bad. You know what I mean? But do you really want Christ to come back? You know what I'm saying? Do you really? Because do you know what it consists of in Christ coming back? First off, you know what I mean? Christ ain't going to be coming back for hugs and kisses. That's first and foremost. He's not coming back for hugs and kisses, giving out flowers to everybody. You understand? He's not doing that. You know what I'm saying? He ain't doing that. That's by far not what he's going to do. You know what I mean? And to bring Christ back, you understand? It takes change within ourselves. It takes change within ourselves. It takes discipline. You know what I mean? And what that's going to bring is the Lord causing World War III. You understand? These countries think they know what they're doing, but the Lord is in the midst of all of all that was going on in the Middle East. He's in the midst of it all. All right, he's stirring the pot up. It's happening. He got all the ingredients he need. You understand how Commander YAHANNA like to say, he got all the ingredients that the Most High need for this battle, for this big event that's about to take place, and it started already. You know what I mean? Believe it or not, we in it. We in it already. World War III. You understand? We in it right now. You know what I mean? It started. It started when that when Israel pulled the trigger, and U.S. You know what I mean, jumped in it as well. You know what I mean, and they both attacked Iran. That's the start of it right there. You know what I mean? If you're still questioning it, they blown up oil reserves. You know what I'm saying? Oil refinery reserves. They attacking water plants and all that. You know what I'm saying? They attacking all that stuff, and those are things that nations need to function. Those are things that nations need to survive and have a smoothly ran land, the country that they running. You understand? But once they don't got no oil, I mean, what you gonna do? The country gonna fall within weeks. Within weeks, it's gonna fall. You understand? Mainly the U.S. Since we, talking about it. Mainly the U.S. This country is definitely gonna fall. It's in the Bible, and we should all want this place to fall. You know what I'm saying? We should all want it to fall. Why? Because this place has been nothing but evil towards us. It's been nothing but hell on us. Black and Latinos and Native Americans only receive pain here. You know what I mean? And nothing else. We only receive pain here. You know what I mean? It wasn't for the grace and mercy of the Most High, we would not be, here today. We wouldn't be here today. We wouldn't be doing half of the things we're doing today. And it's only the grace of the mercy of the Most High, we still, we squeaked out of it. You know what I mean? And we still here. You know what I mean? We ain't never been wiped out before. We ain't getting wiped out now. You know what I mean? The Lord loves the nation of Israel. But the thing is, for the kingdom of heaven to really get brought forth, we got to make a change. That's why it says in the book of Romans 13:11, where it says, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. That's what it's talking about right there. We got to wake up out of this sleep we in. We in a deep sleep, a slumber, you know what I'm saying? Where we are just doing anything we want. The weather breaking right now in Trenton, in Philadelphia, the East Coast. The weather's breaking. All right. And brothers and sisters out here about to start wilding out, acting crazy, just because it, rolls up 20 degrees. You know what I'm saying? It raised up 25 degrees. You understand? The weather is feeling nice now. It's about to act the fool now. But guess what? We gonna get right one way or another. We gonna get right. You understand? The Lord wants us to get right, and for us to get right, I wonder how much more we have to suffer before we get right. Put it like that. You understand? So we know we gotta wake up. We know we gotta wake up. We gotta change. We're gonna get another precept. I'm gonna grab grab okay, maybe do I say it first? Some of the precepts Commander YAHANNA was going over this past week. Shout out to Round Table of Truth. You know what I mean? Most and foremost, shout out to Black Watch. All right, we're gonna go over some precepts. Oh, let me see. Yeah, this is all good right here. All right, so Book of Isaiah, chapter 47, verse 1. All right, it says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O daughter of O daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate." It's talking about America. You know what I mean? Talking about America. And how America won't be no longer called tender and delicate. What it means is, ain't no other country really got into it really and really damaged America like that. You know what I mean? How they're going to be damaged. You understand? Ain't nobody really did that. So the Lord is likening America unto, you know what I mean, some woman, some young woman that hasn't never been touched by any man. You understand? That's what the Lord is likening America to in this precept. And not just this precept, many other precepts in the Bible. All right. So when it says that, you know what I mean? It says, "For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate." This place is not going to be, America ain't going to be tender and delicate no more. We're about to go into how. "Take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers." You understand? The Lord is going to have it to where America gets dirty. America is going to get dirty. It's going to get touched. It's going to get, you know what I mean? All, these things is going to happen there. It's going to happen. You understand? It's going to happen. It's going to be civil unrest. It's already civil unrest. You know what I mean? Hence, what's her name? Renee Good. Hence, Renee Good. You know what I mean? Since it was an oppressor, a daughter of the oppressors that got unalived by ICE. You know what I mean? Everybody making a big hurrah about it. You understand? And it was civil unrest about it I mean, it's still civil unrest. It's just not mainstream in the news right now, like it was like about a month ago. All right, you know what I mean? It's civil unrest to this day, civil unrest, and this is going to be more civil wars. There's going to be more civil wars happening here. You understand? They talking about Iran got sleeper cells here in America. You understand? Sleeper cells meaning they got people here. It's Iranians here. Iranians are dwelling here in America. They're here. You understand? They got sleeper cells here, and they worried about that. And like Donald Trump said, what he said, people are gonna get unalive, and that's a risk he's willing to take. He does not care. You understand? That's why the Bible in this time, you know what I mean, and learning from the priests and prophets that are, ordained, and you know what I mean, to teach this Bible is very important at this time. You know what I mean? You got to come to the men of the Lord in the I.S.U.P.K to really get these things that's being written about in the Bible, these prophecies. You understand? You got to learn, sit at the foot of these prophets in here, and we gonna get our nation right. We're gonna get this nation right. You know what I mean? We're gonna get our people off of drugs like we've been doing. We're gonna get our people off of smoking cigarettes. We're gonna get our people off of all the, the witchcraft of this place here. All right. We're gonna get our people right. You know what I mean? That's why it's important to come in the I.S.U.P.K right now. You know what I mean? Gotta get in here yesterday. That's what you gotta do. You understand? You can't play with, you can't play with this right now. Can't play with it. You know what I mean? We see what's happening. In the book of Matthew, Christ is telling his disciples on, the things about, what to look for his second coming. And one of those things is wars and rumors of war. You understand? Wars and rumors of war. That's what we're looking at right now. We're looking at it right now. And this ain't no skirmish. This ain't no skirmish. I mean, it don't look like it to me. You understand? It's getting serious. It's getting serious, and this is all going to catapult, you know what I mean, into the prime of World War III. That's what's going to happen. And what you got to do now, while these other nations are fighting, while these heathen are fighting each other, right now is the time that we fix ourselves. Right now is the time that we really get ourselves together and get right. Let's get some more. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yea, thy shame shall cover it. So like thou shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. The Lord is not going to meet. Is not going to meet America. It's not going to meet our slave master. It's not going to meet our oppressor as a man. He's not going to do that. The Lord not going to meet America as a man. No. How you going to meet him? Nuclear thermal wars. Thermonuclear war. SHALAM. Thermonuclear war. That's how the Most High going to meet America. You understand? The nukes going to bomb America. It's going to be, you know what I mean? It's going to be hell. It's going to be hell. You understand? The Lord going to gather them all down there in the Middle East. He going to destroy them in that land. You understand? That's what's going to happen. The valley of Jehoshaphat. And he's going to do these nations in because it's time for his people to be free. It's time for his people to be relieved of this abuse that we've been, suffering for 400 plus years here in America. You understand? It's time now for us to be free of this oppression. All right, we're gonna see about some more of this. You know what I mean? This whole chapter to why. You know what I mean? Let me see. Says Salaki. Quick second. All right. Sit thou. So this verse 5, right? I'll read verse 4. As for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. You know that. Verse 5. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. You understand? Let's get some more. Verse 6. I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. You know what I mean? He polluted in his inheritance. You know what I'm saying? He was wroth with us. What does the word wroth mean? It means angry. The Lord was pissed with us, man. He was pissed with us because we chose to do whatever we wanted to do. We chose to, serve Allah. We chose to serve the white man as God. We chose to do these things, man. We chose to seek his way of life instead of our own culture, instead of our own ways, instead of our own path that we had set up for us, that the Lord had set up for us more accurately. You understand? We decided to go off and do something else. The Lord didn't do nothing to us. We did something to him. You understand? That's why it ain't the Lord's job to try to come and be attached to us, because he kept his side of the deal. He's going to keep his side of the deal too. But what we did is we separated ourselves from the Most High. He didn't separate himself from us. We separated ourselves from him when we decided to eat swine flesh, when we decided to eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. When we decided to do these things that the Most High said not to do, we separated ourselves from him. So that's why it's our job now to attach ourselves with the Lord, attach ourselves to him. You know what I mean? Come into I.S.U.P.K. You know what I mean? Sit in these classes. Humble yourself and learn. Ask questions. You know what I mean? And then, become a trooper in the school, wear all black. You understand? Get in these classes, get raised up in here. You know what I mean? And we're gonna raise up more brothers after that. You understand? That's how we gotta do this. We gotta raise this nation up into righteousness. Raise it up out of the darkness we've been in and raise it up into righteousness. That's how we're gonna get up out this hellhole, man. It's gonna take brotherhood. It's gonna take us leaning on one another, especially in the times now and the times to come. You know what I mean? The foreseeable future. You understand? Let's get some more. Have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. He given us to these heathen, right? He gave us up to the oppressor. You know what I'm saying? He gave the oppressor dominion over us for the time being. But guess what? Let's read some more. It says, thou didst show them no mercy upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. You didn't have any mercy on us. The oppressor, our slave masters, didn't have any mercy on us. They did not. They didn't have any mercy on us when they was beating our backs. You know what I mean? Turning our backs into leather. You know what I'm saying? By, constantly striking our back with them bull whips. You understand? By constantly lynching us. You understand? Setting us on fire, hanging us, and doing all types of monstrosity in front of our family, in front of our wives, in front of our babies. You understand? Traumatizing us for decades and decades and decades, like for centuries, like, you understand? And this is what you did. You had no mercy when you had us under your possession, in your possession. You had no mercy on us, man. You know what I mean? Let's get some more. It said what? It says, I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient has thou laid, it's like thou very heavily laid thy yoke. You know what I mean? You laid your yoke heavily upon the ancient. Who's the ancient? Talking about the nation of Israel. We that ancient nation that it was talking about in the book of Deuteronomy, where the Lord said, "We for thou art in special people unto the Lord thy God." It's talking about us. We that ancient, that ancient. You know what I mean? Or with our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We that ancient. You know what I mean? The ancient that's talking about right there. All right. Let me read some more. Verse 7. And thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst thou remember the latter end of it. We're going to get some more in that last part too. But it says, and thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever. If y'all just pay attention to what they be saying, I watch them. You know what I'm saying? You pay attention to what these devils be saying. They are so confident in what they about to do and they next moves. They are so confident in what they believe is going to, like, they believe what they have set in place is going to work and ain't nothing going to get in the way and they're going to win. Hands down, no questions asked. They're confident in that. You know what I mean? What it said? It said, and thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever. America is, you know what I mean, feels like it's not going to be stopped ever. It feels like it's going to be on top forever, above all these nations forever. The number one richest country forever, who can just enslave the Lord's children forever and nothing happen. That's just how life is going to be. And they enslave the whole earth. They feel like that. That is not going to happen though. That's not the Most High's way. The Lord, you know what I mean, let you think that, let you believe that, but then you're gonna find yourself in a position where you're gonna have to let some nuclear bombs off. You're gonna have to do something that's gonna further escalate this World War III. Listen, they think they know what they're doing. Let's get some more. And giving them into thine hand, thou didst heavily. Oh, it's like I went up a verse. Like, let me go to verse 7, back where I was at. And thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. What I was just saying, what I was just talking about, the latter end of this, where you thinking you gonna be unstoppable, you calling this operation epic fury over there for Iran. You don't know that the Lord might lay down epic fire on you. You understand? Like he will do. You know what I mean? Like Commander YAHANNA was saying. You understand? Like, listen. You know what I mean? You ain't going, the latter part, what it's talking about, neither did it remember the latter end of it. Meaning that the latter end of it being, you gonna forget that you gonna fall at the end of this. That your empire that you have for so long is gonna fall and is not gonna be here. And it's gonna be destroyed. You forgot that part of it though. You know what I mean? You forgot the latter end of it. Neither didst thou, it's like, neither didst remember the latter end of it. You don't, you know what I mean, you didn't remember. You'll remember when them bombs dropped. You remember it then. You're gonna be like, dang man, we had the Lord's chosen people in bondage for so long. You'll remember it then when the bombs drop, when Christ come back, crack that sky open, and you see 200 million nigga angels along with Christ, who is a nigga himself. You know what I mean? A black man from the tribe of Judah. You understand? You'll know then. You'll understand it then. Speaking to the oppressors, right? Now, let's go. Let's see if there's any more on this. If not, I'm go to another book, get another precept. All right, for right now, yeah, we can get another precept. I'm gonna go to Book of Joel. You know what I'm saying? Now, before I do that, let me get Revelation. I'm gonna go to Revelation, and then I'm gonna go there. It's Book of Revelation, chapter 14, verse 20. It says, "Oh, Salaki. Nah, let me go. I'm gonna go 18, 18 and 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, 'Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues.'" You understand? Like the Lord wants us to come out of this place so we don't have to receive the plagues. We don't have to receive all the, the bombing, all the, we don't have to be victims to the hell that's coming here to this place. Because it's going to happen, it's going to come, and we don't have to be partakers of it. We can be, living, just fine in the ghetto, in the hood, while these other nations are killing each other, slugging, while these other nations are unaliving one another. You know what I mean? We could be living ghetto fabulous, you know what I mean, while they're doing that. It's a way we could survive this. And the Lord already showed us. Christ showed us. Brotherhood, you understand? Us loving one another and preferring one another is how we're going to survive this. You know what I mean? We're going to have to look out for one another in this time. For damn sure, that's what we're going to do here in the I.S.U.P.K. I suggest brothers out there listening, tuning in, you get in contact with somebody, you know what I mean, with, the I.S.U.P.K. from the IS, get in contact with somebody from the I.S.U.P.K. nearest you. You understand? Nearest you. Look us up. Do what you got to do. Put your foot, your groundwork in to find out who you need to call. You know what I mean? Just look up the I.S.U.P.K. wherever zone you in. Give us a call. You know what I mean? And get in these classes. You know what I mean? Because that's what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to raise this nation up and change our lives. It says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues." You know what I mean? We are just explained that, right? Let's get some more. Reward her. Nah, from here I'm gonna go to Joel. We ain't got a lot of time. This is probably gonna be the last one. All right, we go to Joel. All right, boom. We're gonna keep going over this too, as this World War III unravels, as this World War III goes further and further along. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna keep going over these precepts. All right, it says for a second. Joel chapter 3, verse 1. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, meaning he's going to bring this captivity into an end. Judah and Jerusalem is talking about, the blacks and Hispanics, all the 12 tribes of Israel. He's going to bring this captivity to an end. All right. It says, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. And if for those out there that don't know, southern Israel. All right. And it says, and I will bring, and I will plead with them there for my people. The Lord gonna plead with these nations, not the way man pleads with nations. when he said he gonna plead with these nations, he's gonna he's gonna decimate you. You understand? And then gonna be like, all right, you gonna let my people go now? You gonna do it now? That's how the Lord pleads with someone. That's how the Lord pleads with you. He gonna destroy you. You know what I mean? Let's get some more. It says, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel. And that should let everybody know, Lord, the Lord's people is not everybody on the earth. Everybody on this earth is not the Lord's people. Said it right there. You know what I mean? For he said, for my heritage, Israel. Not, the Ammonites. It didn't say Esau. It didn't say anybody else. It didn't say anybody. But Israel. That let you know he only loves Israel and came for and sent Christ for Israel, that we should be saved. All right, let's get some more. Whom they have scattered among the nations. You know what I'm saying? They done scattered us all over the nations, man. You know what I mean? Christians get twisted up about that because they don't know the Bible. You know what I mean? We've been scattered abroad all these nations, man. We in South America, Central America, and you know what I mean, up here in America where everybody else dwell at right now, where Judah, you know what I mean, the rest of the tribes dwell at here as a whole. You understand? North America, Slovakia. And we in the Caribbean, you know what I mean? We in the UK. We are everywhere. We're scattered abroad. And we done scattered abroad, right? And it says, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. You done parted the Lord's land. All y'all over there, you know what I mean, in Israel today, that's not your land. That's not your land. You know what I mean? That's why all that stuff going on over there right now, because it's not your land. You know what I mean? You fighting over a land that's not yours. And you occupying our land, to make it clear. You occupying our land right now. And the Lord is gonna plead with you, get you up out of there and make a place for us to dwell. He's gonna give everybody their right portion of land, put everybody in their place, put everybody where they supposed to be. You know what I mean? And that's our land right there if you didn't know. Let's get some more. All right. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink. Verse 4. Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre, and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will ye render a recompense? And if ye recompense me, swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your head. Like, the Lord is not playing with these nations. The Lord is talking greasy to them right now. He's saying what he's going to do, and it's not sweet. It's not nice. All right. You know what I mean? The day of the Lord is nothing sweet about that day. Ain't nothing nice about that day. It's a terrible day. It's what the Bible describes it as. All right. The day of the Lord is a terrible, dark day. All right. And it's going to happen. It's going to come because, you know what I mean, our oppressor's behavior has been dark. You know what I mean? It hasn't been polite. So the Lord is not going to be polite when he returns. All right. You know what I mean? So, but for time's sake, I'm going to wrap it right there. I'm going to get one more. You know what I mean? Zephaniah 2:1. The book of Zephaniah 2:1 says, gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation, not desire. That's what the book of Zephaniah 2:1 says, right? So we got to come together. You know what I mean? Come together. We're in the UPK, Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, is where we have to come and gather ourselves at. You know what I mean? Gather in under this banner, no other banner. There ain't no other Israelite group but the I.S.U.P.K. Everybody else is just a bunch of disgusting Christians. You know what I mean? You want to do yourself a favor, you call the I.S.U.P.K. nearest you, get in these classes. Because, you know what I mean, the time is ticking, brother, and we don't got a lot of time. We don't got a lot of time, all right? So with that, man, I'm going to wrap it right there. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. This Priest and Officer 500 Mathumya at I.S.U.P.K. started on West 125th Street Hall, New York, under Commander General YAHANNA. I mean, we've been teaching the truth about the Bible since 1969, teaching the truth being that the blacks, Latinos, and the Native American Indians are God's chosen people according to the Bible, and that our oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of. All right, so with that, man, I'm gonna salute y'all. I'll be here next Tuesday. You already know. We're gonna get it on. You know what I mean? Y'all tune in for next week. I'm looking forward to seeing y'all. Ask questions if y'all have any. And you know what I mean? I'm gonna leave it right there. Shalom.